Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Glassman's World. It is about 6:30 in the morning here, Mountain Standard Time in the United States, and we are about to undergo some sort of a crazy winter storm that they've been talking about, hyping up in the news quite a bit. And this storm seems a little bit out of the ordinary, so that's why we're here to talk about it, guys. So, I blow glass. I do a lot of live glass blowing demonstrations, live streaming, and I just talk about things going on in the world. This is my world, the glass man's world, and thank you for tuning in and listening. So, as I was saying, this storm, they've been talking about it in the news, hyping it up quite a bit, saying how it's going to be one of those storms that's apparently this is like one for the records. This is something that is a once in a lifetime kind of situation. And I just find that kind of interesting. They're saying that we're having a big Arctic cold front coming down, getting pushed from the north and coming down into the United States here. And it's going to be pushing up against the Gulf of Mexico and all the warmth, which we've been having some unseasonably hot weather recently. We've been in the comfortably, like in December, we've been in sitting in like the 60s, even the 70s on some days. January, we're finally cooling down here, but we're still like barely about to hit freezing. I don't think we've hit freezing. Maybe a couple of days ago, it seemed like there was some ice on the road early in the morning. So maybe the last few days we finally reached the freezing point here. And they're saying this cold front is getting pushed down so abruptly that it's going to cause a severe weather pattern that's going to go across from the west coast all the way through the east coast and going to be pretty brutal in parts of like Texas, Oklahoma, going all the way through, Ohio, New York, up through Maine. And they're talking about having up in like the Great Lakes area, they are talking about exploding trees, guys. I've never heard of exploding trees. Now, I know it's possible, I guess, because trees hold moisture. And in this time of year, they've been consuming a lot of moisture because it's been fairly hot compared to most of the time this season. And so I guess they've retained a lot of moisture rather than going dormant for the winter time. And so these trees are going to have a lot more moisture than usual. And they're going to, I guess, they'll swell up when the freeze comes in. So it's going to be like an abrupt freeze. And then all the plants, all the trees are going to just go into like a hyper freeze or something. They're talking about how the air is going to be freezing as it like uh, the cold is going to wrap around the air molecules and actually freeze the air. We're going to have like ice fog or something. Um, they're saying that this is going to be really brutal. The last time that we've had a freeze, we had something like, I don't know what they said, like 200 and something fatalities, which this one will probably bring double to triple that. They're talking about some really weird things. Um, how people with asthma are going to have issues with the electromagnetic dust that's going through, as well as issues with cardiac arrest. I don't really know what that's all about and why cold and why the winter. is going to cause a lot of cardiac arrest and a lot of people to have heart issues. So this is a weird thing to have issues with people with asthma, patients with uh, heart issues, and they're talking about also that there's possibly going to be a widespread power outage. A lot of the power lines are going to freeze and get so cold that they're going to have to like redo them or something, which is weird. I don't understand why the power lines would freeze so hard that they would have to rebuild them and reinstall new line. I don't know. I've never heard of that. Us here, we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we're pretty much on the edge of where like the extreme heat is in like California, Arizona, Utah. They're experiencing an extreme heat storm, I guess, right now, or just higher temperatures compared to usual in this time of year. And then we're going to have this unusual cold front just come in. Well, not unusual, but a very rapid cold front after a lot of warm weather. So this is going to change things. I don't know if you guys follow the weather and weather patterns and storm cells and how they roll in. And when you have a high pressure and a low pressure system, that's going to be rubbing up against each other, especially with the hot and the cold. Right in between is going to have a lot of wind and turbulence, and could possibly create some like winter tornadoes. I remember sometime around this time last year, we had one of the very first tornadoes in the winter time in 2025. So I would be on the lookout for that. I don't know if anyone's even talking about that kind of situation. I do know that they're talking about just rapid freezes where all of the pipes, all the water mains are going to be exploding. That the water's not going to be able to handle it, and different businesses and schools are going to be closed down for some time. And this is all, potential and alleged, and these are all just possibilities. And we don't really know what's really going to happen until it happens. But people in Texas and Oklahoma are probably going to get hit really hard at first, and then the winter storm is going to move, I guess, northeast and go towards, Ohio, New York, and up into Maine and the whole New England area up there. And then it's supposed to be really brutal in the Great Lakes area with an extreme freeze that they're giving warnings for trees exploding, which I think is going to be really weird to see, especially if we get some on footage. A lot of people are getting the cam footage these days. But I just think it's weird. I probably talked about this already. I normally talk about things when we're live here and just ramble and just talk about things. So around New Year's, and I would probably have to go and rewatch my videos to see if I even mentioned this or not, or if I posted it up on Facebook, or if I posted it anywhere, or if I mentioned it to anyone. But my wife was telling me sometime around New Year's that someone was talking about the weather was going to drop down like into about -7 here in Albuquerque around January 19th. And she was telling me this around New Year's, around the 1st of January. Now it's already the 22nd, I believe. So that would be, 2, 3 days ago that this was predicted. But like I said, we did have a freeze come in, and now we're going to have this abrupt cold, the Arctic cold storm getting pushed down into our region here, and we are actually going to experience negative, I think they're saying like upwards of negative 21 degrees in places like in Taos and close to the Oklahoma and Texas border, like Tucumcari area, Portales, out there by Blue Hole in New Mexico. So like the northeastern quadrant of New Mexico is going to have severe freezing. And I think we're going to drop into about the single digits here in Albuquerque. So that prediction is a little bit off from 3 weeks ago that we were supposed to be getting negative 7 degrees here in Albuquerque, but we're right on the line. It's really interesting that this line is following down the Rockies. I don't know if you guys are following that pattern, but the cold is on the east side of the Rocky Mountains, and then the hot and the heat, the extreme heat, is on the west side of the Rockies. And so you're getting this straight line going down the middle of the states with this weather pattern, and we're right in the middle of it here in Albuquerque. So it's going to get cold, but I guess it may not reach the negative 7 degrees. But what I find interesting is, how did someone know 3 weeks ago that it was going to reach negative degrees here in Albuquerque or close to Albuquerque? How would anyone have predicted this Arctic cold front coming down in such a severe way 3 weeks ago? I mean, I guess it's possible, but that is some real major forecasting on the weather there. Usually they follow the weather patterns, a week, maybe up to 2 weeks, but 3 weeks in advance, like, that's pretty wild. And to be almost right on with it. So someone knew that there was going to be this pattern of storms and weather and winter coming sometime around January 1st. And I would love to find the original source of it, but I don't even know if she sent me any sort of source. My wife just told me that she saw someone was talking about negative 7 degrees here in Albuquerque around the 19th. And this was around January 1st when she said, "Hey, good morning. I see someone's here. Hey, what's up, Austin? It's been a minute." And so I think it's pretty interesting that someone was calling this out from a few weeks ago. So either they knew that this was going to happen, or they were really good at predicting the weather, but I don't know who it was. So I can't say if it was a meteorologist, a scientist, or just some individual like a blogger or something like that who was talking about this. But I'll try to find that information and try to share it out somehow, maybe through a link or something in the comments. If I do find it, I'll try to post it on my Facebook. Recently, what's weird is I've been completely blocked from sharing all kinds of different things on my Facebook. Started out with trying to share out the story with Eric Clapton and him talking about his injury and what happened with him and how he can't play guitar very well anymore. And then, that, I guess no one, well, the powers that be don't want that story to get out. So they're suppressing it, and they blocked me, and I was I have been. I don't even know if I can send links out anymore or not. I think I'm still blocked from sharing links in different groups, on different pages, and maybe even on my own profile, which is, it's, I always get in trouble on Facebook for sharing out things of what I consider to be the truth, and information that I think is extremely important and necessary for others to know. I like to utilize my Facebook as a way of informing people on what's going on in the world, and not just like sharing like, oh, check out my kitties right here, look at them cuddling and playing, or sharing some just weird, I don't know. I just think that Facebook is a big waste of time sometimes, and so if I'm going to utilize it, I'm going to share some important information there, things that I feel that everyone should know. And if they don't know about it, to at least try to start informing them. Maybe be the first one to share some information with others that no one's ever shared with them before. But those kind of things get me in trouble a lot. And so I find it interesting that recently I got in trouble, and it could be coincidental that, I wasn't allowed to share the things about Eric Clapton and other studies and information that's come out recently about the stuff we've been going through in the last few years together. And everyone needs to know and be updated on the new information, the new science, right? Follow the science. But we need to know the truth that's coming out now, things that are being revealed, and how people might be able to help themselves with certain information and things. And, it could be coincidental that I'm getting in trouble now when no one else is getting in trouble for the same. See, that's the thing, is I'm just like trying to share a link that someone else just shared. And then I'm the one who gets blocked and banned, but somehow it was up on their page to allow others to share it out. So I don't know why I can't share these things, but they can. It's weird. And right in the time when the storm's coming in, there's a lot of information that I'm trying to get out there, and I've tried to share it. I don't know if it's gone out or not, or if it's just simply like out there in the abyss somewhere, and nowhere on my Facebook profile. Haven't really checked yet. But I've noticed recently that they've been spraying in the skies lately. And the spraying is all part of the geoengineering and how they can dissipate the precipitation and allow it to then evaporate up into the ionosphere and get carried through with the storm cells and the different storm fronts that come through, and the different pressure systems that then carry that precipitation and moisture to other parts and other regions. And so what I find interesting is that there's this extreme heat on the West Coast as we're about to go into this extreme freeze on the East Coast. And pretty much this storm is gonna affect more than half of our country. This is a really large storm, and we've seen what happened several years ago in Texas when they weren't prepared for the winter, and they're on their entire own power grid with their solar panels and their wind turbines and things. And when their solar panels got covered in snow, they weren't prepared for that, and they lost power. And a lot of elders and individuals ended up passing away. And it was a really harsh, brutal reality check for a lot of individuals who weren't prepared, didn't have generators, didn't have any ways and means on staying warm, didn't have prepare themselves with lots of blankets and sleeping bags. Try to create warm spots within their homes. I've learned how you could get a tent, set up your tent in your bedroom, on your bed, on the floor, and have it fully outfitted to where it's covered up with blankets on the outside, and you can sleep in there if it gets extremely cold. We're going to have issues with water. The water mains are going to break. And a lot of people had issues with not having running water for days, for weeks, not having any drinking water. It would be highly advisable to get yourself some sort of a water filtration system, or at least make one. I don't know if you guys do any sort of prepper kind of stuff and know about how to get the charcoal and the sand and the rock, and you can also like add things like mint and different grass and non-toxic leaves and things like that, and you can help to clean out the water and filter it better, and adding mint will give it a nice minty taste to it. But if you learn how to make these filters, they can really help you in situations like this. um, People say, well, we're not going to be able to get any water because it's going to be all frozen in ice, but you can defrost all that water, right? You can get a pan. You can heat up the pan with some small tea light candles. Get three of them and set them up. Set the pan up somehow on like bricks or something, and put the tea light candles underneath it. And you can heat up a pan of snow or ice and melt it down so you have some sort of water that you can utilize. For us, we can bathe with the Norwex body cloth. So, if we had those sort of issues, we could stay clean and bathe with snow or bathe with ice water. But, you may need that for cooking. You may need that for drinking. So you want to make sure that you have some sort of water on hand. I would recommend filling up any sort of containers today with at least with your tap water. I don't recommend drinking just straight tap water. I always advise to get your tap water filtered, put it through a Nikin or a Berkey style filter or Kangen or some sort of filtration system, reverse osmosis. Even those the Sawyer life straws, or the other life straws where you can just drink, straight from a pond directly to your mouth with the life straw, or the Sawyer water filters. You can also learn to boil your water and capture all that water through condensation, and basically you can distill your own water, so you have good clean drinking water that way as well. But I would recommend filling up your containers. If you have any extra water bottles and things, fill them up today, just in case we do have any pipes that burst and we have issues with the emergency crews being able to get out to everyone at once. Especially in places like Texas and Oklahoma, for some reason, that's a really heavy highlighted spot. And I'm still not understanding the whole thing with the asthma patients and people with heart issues, and why they might suffer from cardiac arrest, or people having breathing issues with all of this going on. Something about the geoelectric magnetic storm that's coming through with this, and it's supposed to like follow the storm and linger for days. So we'll see what goes on with issues like that. Alright, so I don't know when I lost you guys or why. That's weird. I just saw my screen. Good thing I use a monitor so I can watch the video as it's live. I have no idea why my camera went out. I have plenty of battery. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because of what I'm talking about. Man, that's so weird. I haven't had that happen in a long time where it just shuts out. And usually it's because I'm talking about some weird things and then it like just glitches out on me. I have no idea what the last thing was that you guys heard. I guess I could go back. Linger for days. So we'll see what goes on with issue that. But I would recommend filling up your containers if you have any extra water bottles and things. Fill them up today, just in case we do have any. Okay. Was that you guys heard? All right, so for some reason the video completely got cut out. Oh, dang. I just realized one of my buttons on my keyboard is broken. I'm gonna have to replace that. Alright, so sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. I lost you. I was talking about getting your water filled and clean drinking water. I just know it's really important. I know that they were talking about how there's going to be a lot more fatalities than last year. And then they're talking about this geomagnetic dust that's going to be causing issues for people with asthma and those who have heart issues. And I don't know why. I don't understand why that's going to cause some issues. And then the exploding trees, which is going to be interesting to see. What is that going to look like? Are we just going to see just like the trunks just bursting open? Are they really going to explode to a point that it's going to be dangerous? Splinter out? You're going to have to watch out, not walk under trees because of the branches just exploding from above. And you know, making what do you call those? The widowmakers? So I just wanted to talk about a few of the really interesting things that they're talking about here and just the pattern that's going on. The extreme heat that's in the West Coast right now as this cold pressure system is moving in, blast coming in from the north. It's going to be extremely cold, guys. We're going to see what's going to happen for those in Canada as well and everyone up north in the U.S. But for some reason, they're really pinpointing this to be dangerous spots in Texas and Oklahoma as well. So just want to let you guys know to be safe out there, be prepared, and be careful out there if you're out driving around. Make sure that you get enough food and water today before this storm actually comes through and hits, because if we do have a wide widespread power outage, then the stores may not be able to do transactions and take payments and may have to close down. May not be able to get any groceries for a minute. All depends on if they are prepared, if they're the water pipes in their mains are insulated properly, and we'll see how things go. I think we're going to be okay here in Albuquerque though. So locally, you guys here, I don't think we don't have anything to worry about too much. It's going to get cold, and because we're so used to being warm right now, it's going to feel brutal. But just bundle up, get your blankets, get your space heaters out. Um, but at the same time, with everyone running space heaters all at once, I don't know if that'll cause a power outage here. We might have issues. I don't know. We'll see. But with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to start getting ready to get our son to school here. And it's probably about 7 o'clock now. So we'll just finish this up. I'll probably come back live in a little while. We'll do some more Valentine's glass and making some glass here. Also, getting ready for. I'll be recording. I'm gonna do a TV show. I've been invited to be on a TV show for my friend's public access show. I think it's called Everybody's Got Something. And I'll be prepared to perform, do a few songs live on the air. So I'll probably do a few songs here and there on the Glassman's World in the next few days, and just do a little rehearsal, little jam session to get myself warmed up and prepared for that. I also don't know what songs that I want to sing. So I really need to just kind of go through some of my songs and just get a feeling for them, really get an idea of what I'd like to play. I did have one recommendation. One, my wife, she told me one song that she thinks I should definitely perform now in this time with everything that we're going through. But a lot of my songs are all, written way back in the day, over 20 years ago. And the vocals all pertain to things that are going on right now. Sitting on a time bomb, waiting for it all to just explode in our face. Every day, go about our lives the same way. You gotta all stand up and be big man. Because our life reflects our soul. So many different songs, right? Dust and Grave. Surely life will find its time of purity. Life will take its mold. Dust and Grave. You'll never find a peace of mind living uncomfortably. That's what I've been told. We all got problems. We're all going through them. We all have them. But we can all get through them together. But yeah, this has all got to stop. All right, you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for tuning in and watching. I'm Dan the Glassman. I'll be back. We'll see what happens with this storm. Just be ready, be prepared, get your water. Make sure you got plenty of food on hand in case you can't get to the store in the next few days. Look out for the exploding trees up there by the Great Lakes area. I don't know what's going to happen with all that. Also, if you do get a lot of snow, we're getting anywhere between like 2 to 4 inches here in Albuquerque, maybe, which isn't much. It'll melt in the next day. And then in the mountainous regions, They're predicting something like 21 inches of snow, so up to close to 2 feet of snow here in New Mexico. So we'll see what happens if this actually does create a snow storm, or if it's just a storm cell that's rolling through and pushing a lot of this winter weather and cold front in, and uh, and then going to create a lot of havoc for those on the East Coast more than for us. But thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this going to be a real major storm? Are you prepared? Do you have enough food? Do you have enough water? Let me know what you guys think about all this. What do you think about this whole geoelectric magnetic issues that may cause cardiac arrest and issues with people with asthma? Let me know what you guys think about all that. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm out.